So Neil, the phone, you're saying the phone is still a very important part of the process, and I agree with you. How much social prospecting is enough? How much social prospecting is too much? And how often, and maybe this is a little bit too much of a reach for a third question, how often do you think sales reps lean on the social media, lean on the, I need to do more research, need to do more research, I don't have it all figured out yet, because they just don't like picking up the phone?
Right. So I think ultimately, I mean, that's what people would like that's the answer they want to have, right? Is I don't have to pick up the phone. I don't have to cold call. Everybody's interested in that. But I
Hmm.
mean, ultimately, if we're talking about this new way of selling, and it's just a new way of qualifying to get to that stage, I think you just have to have a cadence and you have to know when to let go. You've got to know when to break up with them. And I mean, ultimately, if you were into social media and you were commenting on stuff and the janitor was talking about, something that you're interested in, the price of bread, well, you look at that janitor, that person can't buy. That person doesn't alter the decision or influence the decision any way. Now, out of interest sake, you might, share the same interest about the bread that you're selling, and you want to have conversations with them because maybe you want to buy a certain type of bread, but that's not going to lead to any sales. So with that, that's something you got to qualify yourself. Is this person a person, of interest? In other words, a person that can make a decision, a buying decision. Now, further to that, when I talk about, having some sort of process or a cadence, this is the big thing with inbound marketing. So inbound marketing, they have a formula. When it comes down to when somebody reads a blog or downloads an ebook and enters their email address and puts in their phone number, and they send emails and they send follow-up emails. Well, what ends up happening is they sort of they log that into their inbound marketing CRM. And in that, depending on, if you download, I'm sure, I don't know what your personal name is, but the name that you use when you download an ebook and you don't want to be, don't want to be bothered.
Wait, an
So,
alias? Wait, no, who has those? Multiple email addresses? Wait, who has
right.
any of those?
Yeah. So, I mean, mine I use is, I usually go with Barney Jansen. So if you see Barney Jansen, he's not interested.
Okay.
I've never met a Barney before, but I like that name. So Barney Jansen. So anyways, what happens if you're not a Barney Jansen, if you're Neil O'Connor and you download that ebook, what'll happen is you might get an email from them going, "Hey, I see you downloaded that email, that ebook. You know, I would love to provide you with further information or specifically how we could help you in this, that, and the other." Well, at that point, they've got an email from you. They can respond. Well, what's nowadays with inbound marketing, you can actually see if they actually open the email. You can see if they click through. You can see all of this kind of stuff. But what'll end up happening in their formula is once they've downloaded that ebook, day one, right? Then you might respond back to them with an email. Day two. At that point, when you've got their phone number and everything else, day three, or you might hold and make it day four, you call them.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens at that point, they don't answer the call, or they do answer the call, or you don't. Well, you email them again. "Hey, I missed you. I missed the call, but specifically I want to talk to you about this, that, and the other. Let me know if there's a better time, or if there was something more specific that you wanted to talk about," and have them ask them to call you back, for instance. Always leave a voicemail. Always, always, always. And again, we're into that voicemail. And then, the next day you might follow up with a social touch. Again, you might reach out to them with one of their comments that they go, "Oh, geez, I forgot all about that Neil O'Connor guy. There he is. Oh, that was the Neil O'Connor I was talking to," right? Then they might call you back, or they might be, the triggers. There might be a call to action there. So ultimately, I mean, we could go through an entire formula that we could sort of set up for, you customize it for depending on what the person is doing. But towards the end, um, you're going to have sort of a final voicemail, and then you're going to have some sort of breakup email.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
how is this any different? This is the issue that I have. So you're just going to use email instead of the phone? Like, let's not kid ourselves. The goal is the same. The process is relatively unchanged, and in some ways email is more convenient because the recipient can read it on their own time. The stars don't need to align in order for, the phone call to go through, right? I mean, we don't all work 8 to 5 in an office setting and you kind of know where everybody is when they're there, right? And so there's certainly some things to the convenience of email or even social media touches, but at the same time, they're really easy to ignore, right? And it went from knocking on doors constantly to everybody's got a cell phone, so just call them. And now, well, everybody's got a smart cell phone, so they can get all these other channels wherever they are, whenever they're there. And so I get it, but ultimately, has selling changed?
Well, this is one of the things too, is that when people, if you think about people that kind of believe in social selling, you can do everything through social media. Where's the phone number?
Right.
In LinkedIn, people don't put their direct phone numbers in LinkedIn. Where's the phone number?
Well, mine's up there.
Well, exactly. Mine is up there too. But there's a lot of people that don't put their number up there. Now, a few years ago, I was using a service called Jigsaw, jigsaw.com. That got bought by Salesforce, is now called data.com. And that's basically, think about business cards. You take business cards, it's crowdsourced as far as the information. You upload a business card, you get 5 points. You download a business card, it costs you 5 points. But from that, those business cards, that's where you might get phone numbers from these people, the social touch. Well, if you've actually have a social touch, you have an email, the email was responded or it was opened or they clicked through, you have at that point a chance to call them. You can get their phone number, again, jigsaw.com, data.com, sign up and get your thing. But you can have their phone number, you do make a call. So in an 8-day cadence or 11-day cadence or 10-day cadence, I would say that the minimum times you're going to call are at least three. So yes, you have email, yes, you have social touch, but really, you've got the phone call still in there. It's just that initial cold call. Hi, I'm asking who buys sales leads, and you're talking to a receptionist. That doesn't have to happen anymore.
I hope you enjoyed this part of my conversation with Neil O'Connor. I think we can all agree he's got some valuable insights that we can all put to some very good use. And we took our conversation and split it into a couple of different segments, so you'll be able to find the other parts on my channel. While you're surfing around looking for those, why don't you just subscribe? You can also subscribe to my weekly newsletter. It goes out every Sunday morning, and it's filled with more valuable pieces of information that you can use to be more successful. Until next time, go out and be great.